G'day battlers, and today we're jumping in for another Firefly Cup tournament, this time jumping in for Kevin's run through Panick23's second practice Firefly Cup. We featured Panick's sweep through his first practice tournament on this channel a little bit earlier, and now we're jumping in for his second one, again featuring the winner who was a Kevin. One of the best battlers in the world, finished up April as number 20 in the world, so definitely really powerful, definitely really strong, and worth following on Twitter if you aren't already. Link is going to be in the description down below. But today, let's just jump into it. So look at his team on the bottom right hand side. He's got Shadow Drapion, Shadow Beedrill, Alolan Graveler, Vigoroth, Trash Wormadam, and Heracross. So a lot of those picks shouldn't really be surprising. I mean, Vigoroth is the fighter of all fighters, the one that has that body slam spam and is really difficult to sort of make sure you have hard counters for. Heracross as that double counter coverage for a counter user that is not weak to counter. Always really nice to have. Plus, it's got that rock coverage for things like flyers. We've got Trash Wormadam in here as that solid bug steal, because you do need to get some sort of bulk into your team, and that's sort of one main way to do it. Beedrill, really interesting pick in this cup in that it's got that drill run that is doing pretty good damage to a lot of the Pokemon in this meta, because pretty much every team's got at least one electric. It's good against the Drapions that are around, it's good against the other Beedrills that are around, plus you've got some bug damage to throw up against things like Obstagoon that are used every now and then in this cup as well. And then Shadow Drapion is quickly becoming probably one of the most popular picks in this meta, I feel like. Drapion is just really versatile. There's not a lot of stuff in this meta that is hard countering it, and you've got a little bit of choice in the charge moves as well. For the most part, people are just going for that Aqua Tail Crunch sort of setup. So Aqua Tail, a little bit fast and able to do super effective damage to the rock types that are around, and then Crunch for that chance at a debuff, which is always nice to have. But also Drapion does resist confusion damage, which is really nice. Oh, does it resist it? No, it does resist it. It must resist it. Does it? Confirmed, it does resist it. But let's jump into it up against his round 1 opponent, who is Wildcat Dad 17 from the BTW podcast. Also worth checking out, beginner to winner podcast. He's running the Hisuian Electrode, Shadow Drapion as well, Trash Wormadam, Obstagoon, Lantern, and Frostlass. So single counter user, and that counter user is going to be weak to both of Kevin's counter users. So a pretty decent spot. I feel like Kevin's just got a really nice team up against Wildcat, but we'll jump straight into it because Kevin is the one who's got the big knowledge as to what he wants to do here. So we're going in with the Shadow Drapion lead, and we've actually got the Shadow Drapion mirror match. So instant swap from Kevin into the Heracross in the back. You can see that he also has Beedrill, so he sort of has two Pokemon in the back that do beat Beedrill, and I think that he kind of wants to just sort of make sure that he can get this, sort of bait this Trash Wormadam out so that his Drapion can deal with it, because his entire backline otherwise would be quite weak to that big confusion damage. So lets the switch timer go down here, brings in the Drapion, and at this point I think that was an Aqua Tail Crunch moveset. You're going to be able to tank whatever move this is, although Bug Buzz would hurt, it is just neutral though. So charging up some extra energy, counting really nicely, going for the Crunch for the potential defense debuff if we do get a shield here. No shield, so actually going to take it right out. Instant swap into the Beedrill, knowing that that other Drapion was probably going to be coming out. And we're seeing Wildcat stay in here. I'm interested to find out what's in the back. Lets that Crunch go through, because Kevin knows that he's going to be able to get to this drill run, which is going to do that big old Shadow bonus, super effective damage. Gets the last shield on Wildcat's side. At this point, charges up a ton of energy, and unfortunately Kevin not able to get the charge move off on the Lantern, which puts him in a really rough position where he has to take out both this Lantern, which is a really bulky Pokemon, takes a lot of moves, and the Drapion that has energy in the back. So at this point, I'm a little bit worried for Kevin here, but we'll see if we get the defense debuff here that'll really help out. Get the defense debuff. This Crunch is going to be enough to take Lantern out. Again, Kevin counting the moves. 20th battler, top in the world, knows what he's doing. That Crunch is going to take Lantern out. Here comes that Drapion that does have energy. We'll see what charge move they've gone for. They've gone for the Aqua Tail. One more Aqua Tail is all that he's going to need there. Kevin now going for the Aqua Tail of his own. This isn't going to be enough on its own, I don't think. So it's just going to be a little bit of a case of, yeah, unfortunately, Wildcat is going to get to that Aqua Tail beforehand, and it means that Kevin is going to go down 1-0 in the very first battle. Jump into battle number 2 though. We've got Heracross in the lead, unfortunately this time up against that Trash Wormadam, but this time Kevin's got 2 Pokemon in the back that do deal with it. So swaps into 1. We see the opposing Shadow Drapion come out again, but this time Kevin actually has the energy advantage, so he's going to be the one that's sort of going to be outpacing, a little bit ahead this time around. So the opponent let the first Aqua Tail go through, gonna let a Crunch come through, no defense debuff, which is really nice for Kevin. And it does mean that I think Kevin's in a pretty good spot there where the Aqua Tail is going to be a little bit quicker, gets that next one through. Here comes another Aqua Tail that is going to force Wildcat to shield if he doesn't want to lose the Drapion, which he probably doesn't. Wants to get another charge move off right here. Looks like it was CMP, which is really nice. Kevin, I guess it's good knowledge that when you do win CMP, shields up the Aqua Tail, and because we know that Crunch takes a little bit more energy, Kevin is confidently able to get to this next Aqua Tail before Wildcat is, which is going to take that Drapion out. In comes the Lantern. So we've got double counter user in the back with Vigoroth not taking super effective damage from counter. So presumably Kevin is sort of going to want to use the Heracross up against the Lantern and then bring the Vigoroth out as soon as the Trash Wormadam comes in. I wouldn't be surprised if we sort of see Heracross come in and get ready for a really quick swap into Vigoroth. Not seeing it, interestingly. So going to go for the Rock Blast here. Does the Lantern's very bulky. I'm not sure if this takes it out. It does. Yeah, okay. And then quick swap into Vigoroth. And at this point, I think that Kevin's in a really nice spot here. Wormadam is taking a fair amount of damage. No charge move from Wormadam is going to one-hit KO this Vigoroth. Bug Buzz definitely would have hurt though, so really nice call on the shield. Throw the Body Slam. This isn't going to do much damage, but it's going to add up. I think there's still a shield on Wildcat's side as well, so maybe Kevin was sort of hoping to get that with a Body Slam bait after charging up to the Bulldoze. Trying again. And we do get the shield this time. So at this point though, Wormadam's getting really low. This Body Slam is going to go through. And I mean, it might be the case where this is sort of fatal and one more counter. Even if this takes that Vigoroth, Heracross just needs one counter, which one confusion of damage isn't even going to register. And down goes the Wormadam, which puts us at a 1-1 scenario going into this battle 3. Lantern into Trash Wormadam is not a great matchup for Trash Wormadam, but it's a little bit better knowing that it's a Spark Lantern as opposed to a Water Gun, just because Water Gun sort of puts a little bit more damage on. Just go straight for the Thunderbolt, but you really can see how fast this Lantern is and how much sort of danger this Trash Wormadam is. So we'll see what Kevin decides to do here. Lands the Bug Buzz and gets the defense debuff. That actually gives Kevin the opportunity here to burn a shield and confusion all the way down. But no, not going to go for it. Just going to let Wormadam go, bring in something else for the farm down. Drapion, very nice pick. And I think we might see a Thunderbolt. We do see a Thunderbolt here. Decides to burn the shield because he just wants all of this energy to throw onto whatever does come out here. There's nothing that doesn't care about any of Drapion's movesets. Obstagoon is probably the best, but speaking of, here's Obstagoon, but still it doesn't appreciate getting hit by these Aqua Tails, especially because this Drapion does have a fair bit of energy sort of stacked up a little bit. I think this could be a case where we see a Vigoroth come out here after the energy is thrown. Double super effective counters. We see it quick swap out into the Drapion here. There's 2 shields on Wildcat's side, whereas Kevin only has the 1. So presumably going to see some shields burned here because he's not going to want to bring that Obstagoon back out into the Vigoroth. So you could let this come through in case it is the Crunch and in case he gets the defense debuff, just so you can sort of make sure that you're not going to get taken out by the next one, I guess. But I mean, with how much damage that's doing, I guess you don't really have a choice. You have to shield this second move anyway, which unfortunately is the Aqua Tail, which does do a little bit less damage. But regardless, we're going to get another Body Slam off. Lets it go, which I feel like is going to give Vigoroth the opportunity to farm down here, which actually I think is going to let him count it. Oh, okay. Goes for the Body Slam. I'm assuming we see the shield come up here on Wildcat's side because there's no reason for him not to use it. We see a quick swap into Drapion, and this Obstagoon is not going to be able to one-hit KO here. And then Vigoroth only really needs one more counter, and that Obstagoon would go down anyway. But Drapion's going to seal the deal with this Aqua Tail regardless. So that is a big GG's to Wildcat. Definitely played well, got that first game off of Kevin, but does take it out 2-1 in the end. So we'll jump into game 2 now, who is up against the one and only Arrow, legendary streamer, who's got the Haunter, which is a very interesting pick in this meta, alongside Lantern, Vigoroth, Fortress, Trash Wormadam, and Galvantula. Really interesting, bringing in the double steel bug. I think that Arrow's just like rolling the dice every time that he doesn't come across a Litleo on the other side, because I'm not really sure what he would do. Like Fortress would be bad, Wormadam would be bad, Galvantula would be bad, Vigoroth would be okay, Haunter wouldn't be great. Presumably Arrow has to be running Sludge Bomb on that Haunter, or else you just get walled by the Vigoroths and the Litleos out there. And then Lantern, maybe Lantern's running Water Gun just to shore those up a little bit more. I'm interested by Arrow's team here, so I'm actually really excited to get into this one, see what they do end up bringing in, and hopefully we see some Haunter action, because that'll be pretty hot. Right off the bat, we've got Graveler into Haunter. I don't think this is an awesome matchup for either side, really, because they're both going to have to invest shields to make this sort of go in their way. So we'll just see who wants to invest what. That was just going to be a Shadow Punch, though, because it was really fast. So no shield on Kevin's end. Confident that he could take it, and now putting the pressure back onto the Haunter. Shields up the Rock Blast. We're going to be able to get to another Rock Blast here. Ooh, we see a catch onto Fortress. This is still going to do an amount of damage. Like, it's not heaps. But, you know, it's nice. Swapping to the Vigoroth now. Vigoroth is going to have to eat a charge move, or at least burn a shield in this matchup. That was pretty quick, though. I feel like that can't be an Earthquake, can it? Yeah, that's just a mirror shot. So, no attack debuff, unfortunately, for Fortress. Going up for the Bulldoze, just to try and get this Fortress out of here before maybe another mirror shot debuff could come through. Or a first debuff could come through. In comes the Haunter again. I think at this point you do just go for this Body Slam, but Arrow countered really nicely there, making sure that this Vigoroth couldn't get this Body Slam off. Has that Sludge Bomb, so burn the shield on Vigoroth's end. I feel like this isn't quite enough to KO, just because it is resisted, but I could be wrong. Oh, okay, we see the shield. I mean, maybe it is. I can't say that I'm confident about how the Vigoroth matchup goes, but we see a double swap, Graveler into Lantern, which gives, I mean, Kevin is able to swap into Drapion here, really, I think, hoping for the defense debuff on this Crunch. And we do see the defense debuff, which is really nice there. At this point, just going to go for the Aqua Tail to butter it up a little bit more. I guess the play here is to just sort of let Drapion go and let Vigoroth come in and farm down the rest of the Lantern. And then have energy to throw on that Haunter in the back. Potentially up to a Bulldoze. We'll see though. Actually, maybe throw... Okay, has the Bulldoze now. There's no shields on Arrow's side. And he's still got one shield. So we can shield up this presumably Shadow Punch. There's the Shadow Punch and then hit the Bulldoze. And this will be GG's with Kevin taking the first game against Arrow, just like Arrow's first Twitter account was taken as well. But going into game 2 now, we've got the Heracross going into Haunter. This is not as good for Kevin, just because Heracross isn't actually resisting those ghost moves from the Haunter, so it's a bit worse, but does have the Rock Blast here that is going to be at least neutral, which is nice, as opposed to resisted Body Slams. Gets that first shield. I'm half expecting a catch here, but Haunter is just farming up a ton of energy. Arrow deciding to go up to 4,000 energy before throwing the Shadow Punch. Take out Heracross. In comes the Wormadam, who is doing super effective confusions and not going to take super effective damage from these Shadow Punches. Sludge Bomb will be resisted, so not really going to go for that. So he's swapping into Galvantula, so we see a swap into Vigoroth, wanting to keep the Trash Wormadam for the Haunter, as opposed to using the Vigoroth on that. Lands the first Body Slam, which is really nice. Makes me think that this could be a Discharge. Okay, it's just a lunge. But at this point, farm. Go for the Body Slam here before the Galvantula has the chance to finish that Volt Switch animation. Do you actually just let that go? Okay, do we see Haunter come back in here and maybe try and go for a farm down? It'd be risky. Okay, gonna bring in his own Vigoroth. This isn't great for Kevin, but he's got a little bit of safety in that he's got 2 shields, but look how quickly that counter damage is adding up. This is not fantastic for him, unfortunately. Shields up the Body Slam because you really just have to at this point. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of damage. That must have been 2 was it 2 confusions? Because that's heaps. That's ridiculous. But unfortunately, Kevin did go for the charge move there, so really nice catch on Arrow's end. Really just all went perfectly. Got a charge move, got a shield from Kevin, and able to take a charge move away from Kevin as well. But yeah, Vigoroth gonna take this Wormadam out now. Kevin gonna go down, so it is now 1-1 again. Kevin keeping it tight. We've got the Alolan Graveler in a terrible lead matchup up against that Vigoroth, so instant swap into counter Vigoroth. and keeping that Beedrill in the back, which still isn't a great Vigoroth counter, but I guess Kevin doesn't really have a great Vigoroth answer, except for Heracross, and we saw how much Heracross was getting punished by that Haunter in that other game, and would also get punished by Trash Wormadam, so not too surprised to not see Kevin bring it this game. Okay, my god. Arrow catching every move under the sun. This Body Slam going to do basically nothing to this Haunter, and Haunter's going to farm down, which is not something you see often against a Vigoroth, but regardless, Graveler comes back in, gets 3 Volt Switches. We saw this before, does not need to shield, can tank a Shadow Punch from this Haunter, can farm up a little bit more, can't go for the full farm down, so going to have to burn a shield here, and then can farm all the way down. And I'm sort of guessing we might see Vigoroth come back out. So we see a Rock Blast straight away. Maybe we see a Rock Blast and then a quick swap to Beedrill and hope that they don't have Trash Wormadam in the back. Or I guess getting a little bit of... Oh, that's a bit unfortunate. Was CMP, so not able to take that into Beedrill. She keeps the shield for the back line, and it's actually Galvantula in the back. So this is really good for Kevin, as opposed to something like Trash Wormadam, where you'd really need to be landing the Drill Run and taking an absolute butt ton of confusion damage in the meantime. So able to shield here, and the Shadow attack bonus is really doing it a lot of favors here. Gonna go for another X-Scissor here, which I feel like it survives a touch. Nope, I'm wrong again. I should stop making predictions, and able to take it out in the end. So GG's able to take out round 2. It is now 2-0 in this tournament, which now puts us up against the one and only Panick23. Not only one of the other best players in the world, finished in the top 10 at the end of April, and also swept the previous Firefly Cup that again was featured over on this channel. If you do want to check that out after this, it'll be linked to the end of the video as well. But Panick is actually running a slightly different team here than he was in that video. So beforehand he had his Hisuian Electrode, I believe. Now he's gone for a slightly different tact of Shadow Drapion again, and again becoming clearly a popular pick here. Also running the Vigoroth, Lantern, Frostlass, Trash Wormadam, and Heracross. So the fact that Panick does have that Frostlass sort of just gives Kevin an excuse to run that Drapion again, because it doesn't have too much to fear. It's got some play against everything. Even the fighters don't love being up against Drapion. And actually, he's got no ground coverage except for the Bulldoze on Vigoroth, which is hard to land on a Drapion anyway. So I feel like Drapion's a pretty nice pick for Kevin here, but we'll jump into it regardless. See Panick again already. So soon since the last video. But we've got Drapion going into Trash Wormadam. Instant swap into Heracross. And I guess Kevin doesn't really have a good answer here. He's got his own Heracross, who would be at an energy disadvantage, and he's got his own Vigoroth, who will generally lose this matchup. But by landing that Aqua Tail first, he's able to swap into Heracross. He's going to be able to comfortably burn one shield here, or not. Going to eat a Mega Horn. Oh no, Kevin. This is not great. Oh, Mega Horn does a lot of damage, and now he's forced to go for the charge move. Otherwise, he was going to get farmed down. Panick lets that go. Interesting not wanting to keep switch advantage here. What is he? He brings in the Trash Wormadam. I guess like Trash Wormadam isn't bad against Drapion, but still, sort of an interesting play here. Curious to see what's in the back for Panick. We go for the crunch. Try and get the defense debuff again. No debuff this time. Kevin was getting too lucky in those other games. I think at this point, you go either way, but it does shield up the Iron Head. And then going to go for another crunch here. Counting moves again, making sure that he lands the moves at the right times to make sure that Panick doesn't get too much in the way of extra fast moves. Doesn't quite take out Trash Wormadam, but a quick swap into Vigoroth snipes it out of existence. Here comes Frostlass, gonna just go up to that Bulldoze, and I think we'll see that same strategy that Kevin tried to use before. Farm up to the Bulldoze, throw Body Slam, hope to get a shield. Shields up the Avalanche here, knowing that that Drapion doesn't have much health in the back. Maybe sort of trying to pressure Panick into burning a shield here, and he does, which is really helpful. At this point, you have to make a call. You're going straight for the Bulldoze, hoping that Panick thinks this is another Body Slam bait to get his last shield, and he does, unfortunately, burn the shield here. Not great for Kevin. Has the Body Slam here, not going to do much damage. Again, Panick counting the moves, knew when that Body Slam was going to be got to. Takes it out and has another Avalanche here to take this Drapion out as well. So Panick gonna take this first game, even though Kevin got a fairly decent lead. I guess just didn't have a great back line to answer Panick's. But here we are actually going in with a pretty decent lead with Alolan Graveler into that Frostlass. A single charge move from Alolan Graveler really does hurt, but also an Avalanche will hurt quite a bit coming back. So Kevin burns the first shield there. Farm. We see a swap into Trash Wormadam, maybe trying to catch a Stone Edge, not sure, but Stone Edge still going to do a lot of damage here, so going to go for it. Does get a shield, so not the best result. I think you would prefer that would go through. Pros and cons, obviously, as we all know in this game. Going to go for the crunch though. Defense debuff. Defense debuff. This is easily more than 1 in, 30% chance. We're seeing better odds than that from Kevin here, but lands the Bug Buzz. As you can see, does a bulk of damage. Gets another crunch off though before getting taken out, which is really nice. Wormadam would go down, especially after that defense debuff if they did not shield. So Panick now down shields, brings in the Graveler. Unfortunately throws that move just a little bit late. I'm not sure what the shield up. This Rock Blast. Oh, he actually got a refund. That is actually really nice because now you get to farm all the way down. That was is that a Rock type that came in? It doesn't have a Rock type. What's over there? Oh, it's Vigoroth. Normal type. So swaps into the Beedrill now. Gonna go for this X-Scissor, which has got that 20% shadow attack bonus again. And because of that earlier damage on the Vigoroth, almost down. Surely this isn't a Bulldoze. Like, I wasn't counting, but I don't think it's... Yeah, that's just a Body Slam. One more Poison Jab, down goes Vigoroth. And then we're gonna be able to get to another charge move onto whatever comes in. There's potential for a catch here on Panick's side. Okay, in comes the Frostlass. And we're just about at the Avalanche. Beedrill getting this Drill Run off just in time, which I don't think it... Oh my gosh, does take out the Frostlass. Wormadam comes in. There's no shields left, so just has to go for the CMP there, and this is going to take that Wormadam out, which means once again, Kevin is going into a Game 3 with a 1-1 score. He is playing this down to the wire, which really just shows how good these opponents are as well. But really good lead again with Heracross into Vigoroth. We see the swap into Wormadam, so Kevin is able to swap into the Vigoroth that again does not take that super effective damage from any of Wormadam's moves. Gonna go for the first Bulldoze here. Does land it, which is actually really big for Kevin, because it is gonna mean that you could decide to burn the shield here, and then I think you can just go for a Body Slam to take this matchup out without having to burn another shield. Oh my god, do we get a counter down? We get a counter down! Oh, that's actually massive. Okay, at this point, I feel like I was going to say maybe bring the Vigoroth in, but okay, has Frostlass in the back, so going to be able to take this damage pretty well. We'll see if Panick calls the Bulldoze here. Does call it. Really nice shield on Panick's side. At this point, Frostlass is going to be able to count. Does let another Bulldoze fire off here. Did we burn our second shield? Lets it go. Okay, this is fine. And then going to farm all the way down. Knows that Heracross exists, which Frostlass would be really nice against. Now learning that it is Drapion in the back. You're still not going to love these big avalanches because of that, just the shadow debuff. I call it a debuff. The 20% extra damage that shadows take brings it right down really low. Gets an Aqua Tail off, gets that last shield finally. And I think at this point you let Drapion go. You bring in Heracross, try and farm down Frostlass. Probably going to switch timers up, so you're going to see a swap into Vigoroth, I guess. Oh no, we have an Avalanche. Okay. So now we're going to see a swap into Vigoroth, which Heracross is still going to be in a pretty decent spot for. At this point, I guess you go for the close combat. You're going to leave this Body Slam. It's going to be close, but going to go for the close combat, take out Vigoroth, and then hope to get a couple more. Oh no! Okay, that's a better play. That is definitely a better play. Farm up extra energy, go for the Rock Blast, no debuff, one more counter is all you need, and another Rock Blast coming off that is going to seal the deal with Kevin taking out round 3 against the one and only champion, Panick23. And of course, if you want to get in on these tournaments, definitely join up with Panick. I'll link to his Twitch again in the description down below. All of the links are on his Twitch bio, bottom thingamajiggy. What do you call it? Info panels? I don't know, someone that knows what a Twitch is, please tell me what's going on. But regardless, it now puts us into the very final match up against another elite trainer, definitely one of the best out there. I think he finished April ranked 43rd, something close to that. And we are now seeing that Litleo coming out. We've got Toxicroak for the first time in this video, alongside that Vigoroth, so double counter, really showing itself as the powerful play. Also got that Frostlass, Litleo, Trash Wormadam, and the Shadow Beedrill as well. So I feel like the Litleo is such a sort of It's a little bit of an RPS mon in my mind. I've done 2 practice tournaments using Litleo, and it just feels like it's got good matchups and it's got bad matchups. And when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. It's one of those Pokemon, and I feel like it does sort of make your team a little bit more RPS. But we'll see how these games do end up playing out up against Chris. Whoever wins this battle goes away with a nice little crown on their head. Don't read the title again. Don't spoil yourself. Forget the title. We get a terrible lead with Beedrill into Trash Wormadam. So we see a swap into Drapion, counter swap into Vigoroth, which is not awesome for Drapion, but we're still going to get these crunches off. Going to try and get the defense debuffs that we've seen way too many of, and the game agrees. Too many crunch debuffs. They're not going to go for it this time, but 2 crunches is all you're going to need to take that out. Even an Aqua Tail plus the poison jabs, poison stings, sorry, might do it, depending. I think it's a little, is it IV dependent? I'm not sure, but burns the shield regardless. Gonna counter down the Drapion. At this point, you know that there's a Trash Wormadam in the back, so you kind of have to keep your Alolan Graveler a bit safe. This is a really rough spot for Kevin, unless, I mean, what could their opponent have that, like, would Graveler be really happy about? Nothing really, like, maybe a Litleo. Frostlass, like, you've got super effective moves, but Frostlass is putting a lot of pressure back on you in return. Okay, so in comes Trash Wormadam. We've got enough energy for a drill run here, so at least going to put some hefty damage on. Gets an Alolan Graveler in here. What is in the back? We are not seeing an instant swap out. Is this just charging up to a charge move? Does it mean that whatever is in the back is also weak to rock moves? Is it Frostlass or Litleo? It can't be Toxicroak. You'd quick swap that. Still not swapping. Burning the shield as well. It's got to be really weak to rock. Maybe it is. Okay, I'm going to put... Oh, it's Beedrill. Okay. Who also is not going to enjoy taking a Stone Edge to the face when there are no shields to keep it safe. And bye, Beedrill. Hope you find your dad. And now I've got a Rock Blast. Trash Wormadam goes down. And Kevin is now up 1-0. But are we going to see Kevin end his streak of going into Game 3s with a 1-1? Time to find out. We've got Graveler going into Wormadam. Definitely a better lead than that last one that Kevin was able to find his way out of. Sears swap into Vigoroth, and now this spells a little bit of trouble for Kevin. I guess he's going to do the same strategy, put on a charge move, get some damage onto this Vigoroth. Oh, gets a shield. I don't think it's what he wanted. I think he wanted to land the Rock Blast and then swap into his own Vigoroth like he did in that earlier matchup with the Aqua Tail from Drapion. But regardless, gets up to the next move. Going to throw it now. See if we get a second shield or if it finally does land. Gets the second shield. So now Kevin able to swap into the Vigoroth. Gets this Body Slam off as well, which is really just schmicko for Kevin. Down goes the Vig. And in comes... Ooh, Toxicroak. Not awesome for Kevin, but we've still got a shield in the bank. So we can go up for this Bulldoze if he wants. Oh, attempted catch onto the Wormadam. Does get a Body Slam, which isn't not going to do much to, not much to Wormadam. We are going to see 2 Body Slams go off. Let me know in the comments if 2 Body Slams is better than a Bulldoze. It might be, just because Bulldoze is that sucky of a move. But we'll find out. I've got Drapion coming in though. Really low health Graveler in the back and tried to make the catch there onto Graveler. We know that there is a Toxicroak with energy in the back. No more shields left on Kevin's side. This is not where he wants to be at all. I'm not sure where the win con is here. Maybe catch onto Graveler when this... Okay, we farm down the Wormadam. Toxicroak comes in. 1 counter and... Yeah, I think this is GG's. This Aqua Tail isn't going to take Toxicroak out. Or is... Oh my god, has Dynamic Punch as well. Yeah, that's not awesome. So, the streak does not end. We're going 1-1, this being the very final battle of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I've got Beedrill into the Vigoroth. Goes for this drill run, just trying to get that big damage off. Beedrill, one of the better Pokemon that Kevin does have up against that Vigoroth, although I still don't... Vigoroth is a little bit of a bugbear for Kevin's team, I feel. Especially when it's paired with that Trash Wormadam and other picks that give Heracross a really rough time. But no shielding this one. Think that it is just a Body Slam, and it is. Gonna go for an X-Scissor. Forcing the shield from Vigoroth if they want to keep it around. But it depends what they've got in the back, really. Seeing a... attempted quick swap into Drapion. It is the Wormadam. We see a swap into the Toxicroak. This is again a little bit rough for Kevin, just because he doesn't have that great answer. Because he's been able to get a little bit of energy, he is going to get a couple of Aqua Tails off here, which I think might be able to split the difference. And maybe he's going to be able to finish this Toxicroak off with Beedrill. Oh, that is really big for Kevin. The fact that Chris let both Aqua Tails come through, that is actually really important, because now he's going to let Drapion go. Beedrill can comfortably take this Toxicroak down, or, I mean, Graveler could go for it if they really want, get some energy advantage. Okay, just going to bring the Beedrill in. We know that there's a trash Wormadam in the back, so, yeah, Beedrill just wasn't going to do much there. Brings in the Graveler now. Graveler is going to outpace to the moves here, but ideally would get a Shield Bait with a Rock Blast. Shielding up the, presumably, Iron Head? Bug Buzz. Okay. And I guess Bug Buzz has that possible debuff, which is nice. Goes for the... Was that a Rock Blast? Oh, went for the Stone Edge and lands it. That is devastating for Chris. At this point, going to be able to farm all the way down. And Kevin taking it out at the very end there. If that went the other way, if he went for the... If they shielded, I think Kevin still would have been able to get... Well, he still would have been able to get a Rock Blast off. Would that have been enough? I'm not sure. I'm not... Actually, we can go back. We can do this, gamers. We can take a look. Okay. Skip ahead a little bit more. Oh, I went too far. Help! I don't know how technology works. Oh no, that's too far. Steve, what are you doing? What are you doing, guy? Just let the video end. The battle's already over. But no, Steve, I want to see. Okay, if that Stone Edge. Okay, I think the Stone Edge is actually really important there. He does get to another one though, so actually it wouldn't have mattered. Even if he shielded, he would have got another Stone Edge off there. So yeah, Kevin was going to win that one regardless. Just so we've got that confirmation in. But with that said, thank you so much again for Kevin for sending this video, these footage through, and for Panick for hosting these Firefly Cup tournaments, because I think these practice tournaments are really probably one of the best places you can go to get that early understanding of the meta. Like, for example, going into the meta, in my Meta Simplified video, I talked about, like, Litleo is probably going to be a really, really good Pokemon. I was looking forward to it. I just finished powering mine up, and I was ready to go. And then using it in practice, it was kind of like, oh, this doesn't really work the way I want it to. Like, it does sort of work on paper. You've got a lot of things that it does hit that a lot of people are using, but it feels a little bit RPS, at least when I was using it. So let me know if that's not your experience, but those are the sorts of things that you really can only properly learn from practice, I feel. But yeah, huge shout out to Kevin. Again, link in the description for his Twitter account, he posts all of his big wins there, and you can sort of get into the mind of Kevin a little bit to figure out what he's sort of, as one of the best battlers in the world, sort of what's going through his head, what sort of tournaments he's participating in, so you can kind of get into that sort of sphere of success. But with that said, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one. Thank you to my patrons and supporters over on Twitch, even though I'm always so very slow to move my head out of the way, even this time when I had my video not attached to the thingy that I try to move around. But yeah, the other video, if you want to watch Panick's sweep through the previous tournament, that'll be right there. And if you want to check out a live Firefly Cup tournament that we did some coverage of, the Astralis Shield, big tournament, best battlers in Australia, definitely worth checking out as well. And yeah, see you in America.